Okay, so disclaimer, this video is my opinion, and this video should be taken as a opinion. This video is my thoughts and my opinion, and this video should be taken as a opinion. I have a question for the tarot cards, and the question is, was COVID-19 the intro to the mark of the beast? And I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask the tarot cards, can they answer my question? The question is, was COVID-19 the intro to the mark of the beast? Spirit, can you answer my question? Was COVID-19 the intro to the mark of the beast? So these are the cards that came up. And tarot cards tell a story. And the tarot cards give you a story. And I'm trying to figure out what story that they give me. What is this story? What is this? Okay. You know what I think? I believe because tarot cards give you a story through the cards, and the cards gave me a complex answer. So the cards are telling me, yes, there was some type of virus out here, and yes, the cards are telling me, yes, the COVID-19 was the introduction to the mark of the beast. It's giving me two yeses. Yes, there is some type of virus that was going on. Okay. Because I didn't even believe that, but the cards are telling me, yes, there was some type of virus. Personally, no, I didn't believe there was. Me personally, no, I didn't believe COVID-19 was real, but the cards are telling me yes. Yes, the cards are saying yes to a question that I didn't even ask. It's giving me two yeses. Yes, it was the introduction to the mark of the beast, and there was also a virus out here, or a disease out here. And the cards tell a story, so here is the story that I think is going on with these cards. Here's the story. I feel this card would represent nature or some unknown substance or some unknown virus that was out here during the time of COVID. But I also feel this card represents the virus aspect and divine judgment, because this card has a cloud and a branch, and I feel this card represents the virus aspect of the yes that I was talking about, and the divine judgment, the mark of the beast, because the mark of the beast, I feel, is divine judgment, like being forced to pick a side. Either you're with God or you're with the devil. And I feel this card represents divine judgment. That's what I feel. Because the cards tell a story. I asked, was COVID-19 the introduction to the mark of the beast? And this card came up. And I feel this card represents the virus aspect of the question that I asked. And this card also represents divine judgment. And after the virus aspect and divine judgment comes war or despair or sadness. There's a man in a boat with swords in the background, and there's someone with a hood over their cloth. There's someone with something over their head, and this card looks sad. Like many people died from a virus, or many people died or perished, or a lot of casualties happened from the virus, or divine judgment, the mark of the beast, because I feel this card represents the virus and the mark of the beast. And this card represents casualties from the virus and the mark of the beast. And I feel certain aspects of COVID were man-made, like certain strands in COVID, like in this area, could be mutated or man-made. Because with this card, there's a man with a globe in his hand and a branch, a stick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the story. Divine judgment, the mark of the beast, and the COVID. And this looks like casualties from the virus and divine judgment. And this looks like someone orchestrated this. Someone planned this. And I feel this card could represent good and evil, just like I said earlier, that the mark of the beast is going to force you to pick the good side or the bad side, God or the devil. And there's two sticks here with a man holding a globe. I feel that represents heaven and hell, good and bad. I feel this is the story that the tarot cards gave me. I asked, was COVID-19 the introduction to the mark of the beast? And I feel the card gave me a yes. This card representing the virus aspect of COVID and the mark of the beast aspect. And this card representing sadness and despair and casualties from the virus and divine judgment from the mark of the beast. And I feel this card represents good and bad, heaven and hell, and COVID-19 being orchestrated. Like there's some higher power. There's a higher power. I feel this card represents man and God. God is doing certain things that us humans are not aware of, and man is doing certain things. I feel this card is heaven and hell, man and God, good and evil, because there's two sticks here, and he has a globe in his hand. Yeah, there's a globe in his hand. And I feel that represents the mark of the beast. Like COVID was the mark of the beast. So this card I feel is the virus aspect and the mark of the beast. This is casualty. And this card confirms. And this card is God and man. Good and evil, heaven and hell. So this is the judgment, the mark of the beast. This card this card represents the virus and the mark of the beast, the casualties after the virus and the mark of the beast. And this card is God and man, heaven and hell, good and bad. I feel the cards gave me a yes. It gave me a double yes. Yes, there was something out here during COVID, during the time of COVID. And yes, COVID was also the introduction to the mark of the beast. This card representing the virus aspect and divine judgment and the mark of the beast, and the casualties after the virus and the mark of the beast. And I feel this card would represent God and man, good and evil, heaven and hell after the casualties. This is the casualty card. And this is the final destination card. Heaven and hell, God and man. That God is judging man for the wrong things they've done on earth, or God is going to force man to pick a side. Because there's two sticks here. There's two. I feel like that's not a coincidence. The spirit, I asked the cards, was COVID-19, the introduction to the mark of the beast. And these two cards came up. And this confirms my spiritual gifts. This card represents a higher force, because the way the hand in the cloud is holding the stick, it looks upset, like nature is upset, or God or a higher force is upset. And casualties after the virus, or after divine judgment, or after the mark of the beast. This is the casualty after this card. So this is the virus card, the divine judgment card, the mark of the beast card, and this is the casualty card after the virus and the mark of the beast. And this card is God and man, good and evil, heaven and hell. This is the final destination card. So I asked the tarot cards, was COVID-19 the introduction to the mark of the beast? And 3 interesting cards came up. I don't feel like there's a coincidence that a man with a globe in his hand because I feel this card is God and man. God had a part of it, and man also had a part of it. I feel like the COVID-19 situation, some of it could have been chemically engineered. I feel like that's the man part, the human part. I also feel like it could have possibly been a test run for a much sinister plan, orchestrated by a higher force or a higher power. That's why I was saying this card would represent God and man in the story that the tarot cards gave me. So I asked, was COVID-19 the introduction to the mark of the beast? The tarot cards told me yes. The tarot cards gave me a double yes.